Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the Manchester is Blue channel. I'm only joking. Mancunian Way, live Derby Day, and welcome to Demolition Derby. I hope we're all great. And unlike today, nobody here will be leaving halfway through the stream. So, let's get into it then. Manchester City 6, the Rags 3. A very generous 3 as well. Doesn't actually tell the full story of the game. So before we get into loads, there's nearly 40 on already, and there's loads already in the comments. So what I'm going to do is bring up your comments as we are going. I do apologise if some of them are missed. There's loads coming through as we speak. Like I said, there's nearly 40 people on, and we've just got going. First of all, good evening, Ozzy, Rich, and Xander. How are you, gentlemen?
Thank you for having us, Martin.
Good, mate.
Fair enough.
It's a lovely evening for it, don't you think?
Nah, crap. It's been an awful day. Don't know what's going on. No specials happened. No. So, Manchester City have shown Manchester is blue. What we'll do, first of all, I think we're best going to the team. Because, if I'm going to be honest, probably about 30 minutes, 40 minutes before kickoff, there was a little bit of a meltdown by everyone. Because the news broke that, or the rumours began that Rodri was not going to be available in this game. He suddenly picked up a mysterious injury in this Confederations Cup games, whatever, nation crappy games, whatever they're doing. But apparently he's come back from there with a mysterious injury. And then everyone hit the panic button. And then Simon Bajowski announced that Diaz was not in the starting 11. And it was going to be Ake. And again, everyone hit the panic button. Then Grealish was announced as playing. And everyone again hit the panic button. I don't know what all the panic was about. Ozzy, team, what did you think of it when it first come out? While I just bring on the hellos to everyone, mate.
Yeah, so as you were saying, Martin, I think there was a lot of City fans out there starting to get a bit concerned that Rodri wasn't playing. I was one of them, actually. Like, I was a little worried, thinking, well, we've already lost Calvin Phillips, and now we've lost, Rodri in a crucial derby game. I was starting to worry. Like, we've talked about that midfield and the likes of them not being at their best without Rodri. But no, actually, Gundo actually playing a blinder. Really happy. He controlled the game, controlled the tempo. Yeah. And again, with the back line, I was a bit like, I was thinking not Diaz, Ake and Akanji. Now, Akanji, I think, has been brilliant. And I don't have any faults against Ake, but I did think, is that the right pairing? They've not really played a lot of games together. And I think that was my more concern, is that this was a new back two. I don't know what Rich and you think, Martin, but yeah, that was my only concern.
Well, go on. Rich, what did you think of the team? Was there any panic from you?
It was, I'm not sure panic, but I think it's been an interesting build up in a way, in that we've had, all the rags coming out and saying they're now, they've got the best centre-back pairing in world football. Everything's coming good, really talking themselves up. And then they've done that in the week. And then we've had the Rodri thing coming out. And Rodri being out and not being covered last year was my biggest worry, going back to before the Champions League final against Chelsea. So, yeah, it's definitely a bit concerning, and mainly because we didn't have Phillips or Stones. And I think if you're going to play a CDM, then Phillips and Stones are the most natural people to bring in. And then I'm thinking Pep's going to try something completely mad. So I was trying to work it in my head, is he going to put, Gomez or, someone really left field, or maybe even Bernardo playing there. Although, to be fair, Bernardo did, and for chunks of the game. So, yeah, it was a bit concerning. And we've obviously, from what I've heard, Rodri's got a calf injury and it's more a niggle than something serious, but they weren't going to risk him with Phillips out. You know, I think Pep said before the game, with so many games coming up, they just couldn't risk it. So hopefully he'll be back in a couple of weeks. And then, you know, obviously we've got a few injuries again with Walker going and getting injured. So still got few problems there for the teams in the next week or two.
I don't think that one's too serious though, Rich, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
There was also a big team photo in the dressing room, and he was there. There was no boot, nothing strapped up. So I don't think we need to be too concerned with the Walker injury.
I mean,
I think
with
it's probably
Walker,
caution.
did you watch the Together documentary that City did this year? Because there was a scene in that where he was talking. I can't remember who it was to. He was talking about the nerve. It was like nerve damage almost in his ankle that he could feel. So it just feels like that's going to be just a recurring thing that he needs to just nurse. Or was it? It might have been a City Plus thing when Aguero visited and he was talking to Aguero about it. But I think that's just going to be something that he just needs to watch moving forward. But it's unfortunate, but it is what it is, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, there was. I mean, think if you go back to the England game against Germany in midweek, Gundogan basically played the exact same role he did today for Germany, and he did it very well. So
I think the thing that worried me with it, Martin, I think, was it just gave me Champions League final flashbacks of having Gundo as a
yes,
lone
yeah,
six.
I understand that.
And I just thought if they're going to sit back and counter-attack, he's not going to fill those holes like Rodri. Yeah. But like I said on Twitter, actually, the thing that was most upsetting, I think, about Rodri being out was the fact that Phillips wasn't fit. Because I would have loved nothing more to see him, for his detest that he has for United, to come in his Manchester derby and have an absolute blinder. I felt that would have been just even better. But it didn't really matter in the end anyway, did it? But, you know, if buts and maybes.
Yeah, good evening to everyone. If I'm flashing your comments up, it's because there's so many on, and I ain't going to be able to keep up with them, so I do apologise. Good evening to everyone in the chat. I will try and find a way. We might have to put it on slow-mo when we get more popular streams going on. Yeah, not even got the Newcastle fans peeks in. Haaland and Foden show. I mean, to me, I was worried until I saw the United team. Saw that United team. And they didn't do what I thought, what I'd have done. Now, you know, I'm a nobody. I'm not a world-class manager, but the simple fact is, I wasn't expecting Eriksen, Bruno, and McTominay to be together. I thought Casemiro would have come in for this game. But, and what got me a little bit was, and I think I said this earlier on the Twitter space, was don't think Ten Hag gave us the respect that we probably deserved a little bit. I think they went in with this chest out, arrogant, we've won 4 in a row sort of attitude. And no offence to the teams that they beat, because they have beaten some decent teams. Liverpool and Arsenal are not to be sniffed at. But they came up against a real test today, and I think they got a little bit too ahead of themselves with the team. I think they thought they could go and do the exact same thing again. But if you go back and look at the Arsenal game, they were the second best team, but won 3-1. It was Arteta's silliness and probably noviceness in terms of being a novice as a top manager, of making 3 subs at the wrong time and together, which gave United the impetus to go on and get those goals. And I think he gave us no respect.
I think the trouble, Martin, is they've done that for 2 seasons and they've been absolutely rubbish. They've been playing 2 holding midfielders and they're getting each other's way and they haven't been any good. So although it seems logical, the fact that they've had so many bad performances playing like that is gonna, you know, it's almost a learning thing for them. I mean, Scholes was ripping into United for exactly that reason. But, you know, I think playing Casemiro alongside one of them who've never played together, given they've played well with only 1 CDM, that in itself was a risk too. Sorry, Ozzy.
Yeah.
No, mate. All I was going to say was that, you know, all I've heard from United fans is this is pretty much their best lineup, you know, apart from Casemiro, really. you know, and you may have the odd argument against Martial rather than Rashford, but still, you know, this is pretty much their best team at the moment. And it barely laid a glove, you know, apart from the wonder goal, I'd say, you know, from Anthony.
What a hit, by the way, just to give them the credit where they did deserve. What a hit that was from him.
I mean, I will come to the goals as we're sort of going through it, but I generally looked at it today. I think anyone who's watched the previews all week, we did a mad week on it, and I thank everyone who's been involved and been in the comments for all your support this week. It's been amazing. But I was quite happy to see Aka today in terms of, I think the thought of Anthony running at Cancelo scared the absolute shit out of me, because I thought Cancelo's just not going to be able to deal with it. So, and I think Pep probably thought that. I mean, I'm second guessing here, but Pep just looks like he thought, you know what, I'll stick Ake there, left-sided centre-back, and that'll support Cancelo. Because if Cancelo does, as he can, dive in and he gets past, Ake can come across and cover up into anything that's there. You've got a Akanji who we'll get onto, who has been immense from the day dot of him making his debut. Talk about, forget Haaland being a bargain in the season. Akanji's turning in at 40 million quid as an absolute bargain. And I mean, a bargain at the moment. It looks like he's been there for 4 years, the way the guy's playing. And he looks so comfortable. And the scary thing is Stones and Laporte and Diaz might have a little bit of an issue trying to get him out of a spot at the moment, because he just doesn't deserve to be left out of the team. But I just think, I mean, the atmosphere from we got in, but if you go back from the way we started the game, a minute in, Dalot drops.
Okay, yeah.
Gets a book straight away out there. Now, people will go, Michael Oliver will say, Michael Oliver was quick, so Derby should let that go. If you look at the challenge again, it was late and it was reckless.
Yeah, totally.
You had to give a yellow at that point.
And it screamed naivety at that point as well. It screamed that someone in that dressing room, come on, lads, put it on them, straight go out there. They've gone out there, they've got booked straight away, which immediately, I think Malassi did something probably 15 minutes later on Foden as well. He got put on a yellow. And I'm thinking, you boys are in... I thought we were going to get a penalty. I turned around and said to my missus, I said, they're going to be shitting themselves now whenever we run at them at that byline. One of them's going to end up being... Because bear in mind, neither of them have got, you know, substantial experience in matches like this either. So I thought they were going to trip up, but I think it set the pace for it straight away. And I think Akanji, I mean, I'm actually really looking forward, I might be the only one here, to see him play alongside Diaz, because I think the physicality between those two will just be immense. I mean, I don't know if we've seen it yet, his on the ball ability that maybe Laporte has, which obviously Laporte has over Diaz. But I just think as a centre-back partnership, if you were a striker, you would not want to play against them two. I mean, he's big, he's physical. I mean, I said on that space earlier, Martin, when Rashford tried to use his body against him in the first half and he just kind of stumbled and fell off him, I was like, he's a serious player. I think he's going to be a good little player for us, I think. At a great age as well for centre-back. Yeah, Kanji, yeah. Yeah. At great age, well, I think he's 28, so really good age for a centre-back, got experience, but
in his prime
in his prime now. So we could get a good 4 years out of him at his age. So yeah, it could be great.
Yeah. Go on, Ozzy.
I was just going to say about Akanji. I mean, the kind of talk about him and Diaz potentially. I mean, there was at one point, I think it was in the second half, Akanji just kind of drove straight through the middle of the park and was pretty much up to their byline. It was just, I was in awe of him, really. I was thinking that's kind of like a Laporte or even Stones kind of run that he did. You know, I mean, he could have gone on to even take a shot at the goal for me, you know, because he just had whole emphasis. I'm just driving this ball forward.
Yeah, Jack Lee, I love the support, mate, but just calm down on the comments. We don't want those sort of comments coming.
Yeah, I just want to see.
There's banter and then there's banter, mate. Just relax.
I want to see Laporte back in. I want to see Laporte.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right then. Who does he get in for though, Rich?
Yeah.
I think Ake.
Over Diaz, though, you'd have Laporte in over Diaz in your strongest 11.
I'd have Laporte one of the first names on the team sheet.
Would you?
I don't know.
I think better side with him, and I think our defence hasn't looked anywhere near as good this season. I'd always, and I just think, I mean, it was different today because of, possibly because of Gundogan and Bernardo often being back to get the attack going. I think we're far better in attack with Laporte. So
Laporte always worries me. He just worries me in big games. Does Laporte? I just, maybe it's just PTSD from watching what Spurs have done to him in a few fixtures and how Son and Kane have done him in. But there's just something in his game. I think when we've got lots of the ball and we're dictating it and we're looking for those big passes to unlock defenses, I think he's probably the best in the game at playing those. Him and Van Dijk probably at playing those long diagonal balls to pick out a winger or a fullback. He's unbelievable. But I think if you were to say pick one of them, you've got a defender in them, Diaz or Laporte. I'd have Diaz personally all day. For me.
Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm playing the loyal card, but I'll be honest with you. Every time I've seen Aki play this season, he's done nothing wrong.
No, and this is what's brutal. He
absolutely nothing wrong.
I know. I just don't think he's got. The thing is, I think he falls into a weird category for me, Ake, because I don't think he's as physically dominating as a defender as Diaz, but then he's not as good on the ball as Laporte. So he falls into this weird category for me of, well, he's not as good as just a raw defender as Diaz, but then he's not as good as his build-up as Laporte is. So, but then again, it's brutal because you are right, Martin. Whenever he's played this year, he has been very, very good.
Yeah.
And he's not really had a consistent partner either to play with. He's had Diaz for a couple of games. He's had Stones for a couple of games, and Stones is back out. I think Stones will leave in the summer, personally.
Do you know what it is for me? And we're going to move on to the goals in a minute. We're going to move on to the opening goal. I think Aki gives me that reassurance of Cancelo at left back. I think that's what it is. I think he just gives me that little bit of calmness, that little bit of relaxation of we've got the cover. And yes, as much as Laporte has been amazing, especially the back end of last season, for some reason doesn't give me that as much confidence or that relaxation as what an Ake does.
He's got that same thing, I think, as Stones. He's got that mistake in him that scares me a little bit. Of like,
yeah. I think the flip side is Laporte can take the ball 10 yards further up the pitch. Yeah. If you watch Diaz and he gets the ball from Ederson, Diaz practically runs to the goal line. So he hasn't got a player within 20 metres of him because he's only confident getting it with a load of space. And Ake's a bit like that too, whereas Laporte and Stones, to be fair, they'll push up a bit more, almost so they're, level with Rodri or, further up the pitch. And they'll take the ball under more pressure and then release it under more pressure. And that gives City, particularly in, some games, I guess it's irrelevant. Like, yesterday with the way the Rags were, it might not have mattered quite the same, but I think Laporte gives us that, and he gives us an ability to change the game a little bit quicker. And I actually think that's even more important with Haaland playing, to get that speed against teams with 10-man defence, to try and catch them a little bit less organised. Because United let us play. They really didn't try and stop us. They didn't put much pressure on. They didn't,
pay respect, Rich.
But a lot of games, getting that extra 2 or 3 seconds in attack just to catch them a bit less organised will make the difference between, winning and maybe drawing. And I think that's where we need Laporte. And you talk about the big games. I don't think there were bigger games than the games we had at the end of last season when
that's true.
He was injured, and he was the one player in our defense
with an injury as well. With an injury, he was carrying
himself through pain, and
that's what. I can't deny that, Rich. You're absolutely spot on with that one. Yeah,
the
nearly 50 of you on now. Make sure you hit that like button, otherwise I'll send Ozzy around to your house to have a chat with you all. And his boys.
I think the bottom line is that they're all fantastic centre backs, and we are lucky to have whichever two go out there. They're all fantastic quality centre backs. Yeah. Just quickly.
The elephant in the room is
one at a time. Go on, Oz. He's been trying for a minute.
Yeah, go on, Oz.
Go on. The elephant in the room, though, is kind of what you were just about to allude to, Xander. Is
I'm not that big, Oz, man.
is that we've got so many quality centre backs right now that they're all brilliant in certain aspects. Do you know what I mean? There's very few flaws between them. But of course, we were talking towards the end of last season that there was a possibility we felt that Laporte might go. I mean, we haven't really kind of brought that back up this season. Obviously, he was injured at the beginning of the season, so that's kind of a possibility why he didn't go. But there really wasn't a lot of talk about him going during the summer, which I was quite surprised with. So for me, it's like, how does Pep keep all these centre backs happy? And is it that one of them will go? I mean, you were Sander saying Stones. I'd be a little bit surprised.
I've heard, the only reason I say that is I've had conversations with someone who is wrapped up within Stones' personal life, who has said his relationship with Pep Guardiola is less than ideal. And I just think with the way as Kanji signing, I think the way Pep really likes Laporte. He fancies Laporte. I think out of the four that we've got, I think he'd be the one to go. I think if Ake was the one who was going to go, he would have gone in the summer. So he obviously doesn't want to lose Ake, or else he would have let him go for 50 bob. So I think if there's one that's going to go,
Xander, to be fair, he was going to let him go.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Ake who turned the move down.
Yeah, that's
the reality is we've got very, very little cover at fullback. I think Walker, who for his whole career has been Teflon, has barely strung together 2 or 3 games since early this year. He's broken down now. I think this is the 4th time he's broken down. So he is not that guaranteed 38 games a season player. He was until probably last season. I think at left back we've obviously got Cancelo, who's a right back playing left back, and the other fullback's a kid who looks great.
Oh, Wilton Esbrand.
Going forward. No, I'm talking about Gomez.
Oh, Rico.
Yeah.
Gomez.
No, Gomez.
Which today he showed his inability today. He was really it was put to the sword a little bit because as soon as he came on, he made quite a few mistakes. And I kind of worried for him really because he just kept making the same mistake over and over again. And I was thinking,
so we're going to see Ake left back, and we're going to see Stones right back a lot the rest of the season.
Well,
bearing in mind at the moment, our issue is worrying about having 2 fit centre backs because we've had, so I think we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves worrying about who's going to be unhappy because we've actually had far more of a problem this season of not having enough players or having to play centre backs, fullback, or only having 2 fit centre backs. So I think if that continues, then we're not going to have anything to worry about.
Anyway, no, I totally get that, and I'm not trying to be rude or ignorant. People in the comments and us, let's get into the actual meat of this game. Let's get into the juicy bits.
Where do you want to start?
First goal, the first goal. I mean, the build-up play, the finish from Phil was just exquisite. De Gea, no chance, lift off. Personally, for me, that was what we all wanted. We all said during the week, early goal kills United straight out of the game.
Yeah.
Because it kills any game plan. Your game plan is gone after 7 minutes. If you're getting your fullbacks booked and you're conceding goals in the first 5 to 10 minutes, your game plan's gone. Forget it. You might as well go out and start again.
Well, United's confidence dropped completely, didn't it, after that first goal? It was just they completely...
I don't think we could handle our tempo.
They went back to the way they were last season as well. Like, it was just same as... You could have watched the same game from last season as today's game. The heads dropped and it was over.
And it had parallels of the North London derby yesterday, where one team was just the far better team on coming out the gates. We smothered them today, and Arsenal smothered Tottenham. I mean, what you were talking about, Martin, with Casemiro starting, I think it's a really interesting point because I was watching them, thinking, what is your actual game plan today? Because they'd set up like they wanted to have the ball, good ball players on the pitch, like you said, with Eriksen, with Fernandes, with no Ronaldo, so they've obviously kept Rashford in so he can come in and get involved in the play. But there was never any intent to kind of retain possession. The minute they got it, they shit themselves and thought, how quickly can we get up the pitch? But then they weren't set up in a 5 or a solid midfield 5 to play low block and just hit us on the counter attack. So I actually don't know unless you are right in saying when we scored that early, their intent was play the game and we just knocked them for a 6 and their plan just capitulated and they went back into what they'd been taught for second nature from Ollie for the past 3 years, which is just sit back and try and nick a result.
So I thought it was great. It lifted everyone. It lifted the stadium. It just got us motoring. And you know what? For 45 minutes, we never, ever looked back. We never, ever once looked back. That is, for me, I mean, I said the Forest game was probably the best game so far, but that 45 today in the first half was exquisite. We had room, we had space, we had movement. United did not know what to do. They were diving in, they were making rash choices. Not saying anything on Rashford there, that's not a pun. But, I mean, Grealish today, can I just say, this guy's took so much stick from his own fan base. Anyone today who does not think Grealish played well today, please leave your agenda at the door, because if you are thinking Grealish was shit today, you now have an agenda. The agenda is open. If you think Grealish was crap today, you have an agenda now.
It's actually a shame for Grealish that Foden and Haaland both got hat-tricks, because they'll steal the headlines now. And his display will go a little bit under the radar.
If anyone deserved the goal today, it was him. And you know what? Being in that crowd today, but being in the crowd today, they wanted him to score. There was one where he did. I mean, that run he made, but when he cutting off the left, comes through the middle and gets snapped in half on the edge of the box for Gundogan to hit the post on from the free kick. That's what Grealish brings you. That's Grealish at his best.
He was just running into that box like we've all been wanting him to, and he was just driving into it. Brilliant. It was the Grealish we've all been begging Pep to unleash, and we got it today.
And confident to come and get the ball and run
Grealish.
I think
so much difference with Grealish.
We had so much space today compared to most games.
It was his third game.
Yeah,
third game on the bounce starting.
Yeah.
What has Pep always done?
He's in good form as well. You see what he's doing. His performances have started to, each one's better than the next one.
Growing in confidence because he's being played. Last season, he was in and out the team, left, right, and centre. How can it's like you with your job. You go in a job with your probation period, and you have 3 weeks out of 7 weeks off. You can't get in a rhythm. You're going to get going, and that is what we've done. I'm not saying Grealish is the perfect player. I'm not saying he can't improve. I'm not saying he needs to do it. And I know he needs to score goals and get more assists. I get that. But today, Grealish brought us something that scared the shit out of those lot. Delot, do not get me wrong, Delot has been probably one of the best right backs in the league in the first 6-7 games. Grealish put him on his ass.
Well, he was in all the
put him on his ass.
He was in all the combined 11s from last week.
Exactly. And Grealish put him on his ass.
Yeah.
Couldn't handle him. Didn't know what to do with him. So listen, if you just leave the agenda at the door and let's get behind some of these players when they're doing well. I know it might hurt. I know it's like, putting on a new pair of shoes. It might be a bit tight and a bit snippy, but try it on for size. You might feel good.
Well, he's keeping out one of the best players from last season at the team, isn't he? As in Mahrez. Mahrez isn't getting a sniff right now.
Himself out the team.
Yeah. Well, I know he is, but what I'm saying is that he is keeping him out with his performance levels. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise, if Grealish wasn't playing particularly well, it would be Mahrez starting.
Yeah, because Phil would go over to the left, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
And Mahrez would come on the right. But I mean, what's good as well is I think for Grealish is Sterling leaving, because obviously last year he had the whole thing on the left where he can really make the left his own now because Phil's confident playing over on the right. It means that we've really got if you think left wing, we've got Foden and Grealish. Right wing, we've got Alvarez and Mahrez. So even though Foden's out there playing on the right, he's playing that well. You know, we've got two really good options on each wing now instead of having three last year of Foden, Sterling, and Grealish. And one of them's got to miss out, and then obviously you've got his injuries and such. But I think if he can keep pushing on, I think he could do some really good stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Can I just say to you, so listen, Yusuf, I love your support, mate. But I never want to get to a stage, mate, where you support a club where you score a goal and there's a little golf clap. You keep your famous Anfield atmosphere, mate. Because if that's atmosphere, keep the damn thing.
Did you see that clip? Is that the clip?
You score goals and do your little golf claps at the Anfield Road end. You enjoy yourself. Jesus Christ. We will just sit and do the pause now. Erling Haaland. Rich.
Yeah.
What more can be said about this fella?
Right.
Can you just tell me what more can we say? Because he's a flop, can't pass, can't score, won't do it in the Premier League. Get man marked and oh, hang on. No, got a phone call. Hang on. Yeah. I'll let him know. All right, mate. Just Erling Haaland. He's saying he's going to let Martinez out of his back pocket. Carry on.
Yeah, so I was wondering what, you know, comedy central we're going to have for Martin then.
No, but all I've heard all week is the butcher.
Yeah.
The butcher's gonna mash him up. The butcher's gonna destroy him. Martinez, he's 4'5", but look what he did against Ajax for Butt. Get off.
Where was
Absolute crap.
He was so tiny today. I didn't see him play.
Yeah.
No, neither did
I
Haaland.
think the thing about Haaland today that was most impressive was that he actually, for the first 7 games, he hasn't really been out that centre channel, but today he actually ventured a few yards outside it and he set up 2 goals with his being involved in the play, and saw particularly with De Bruyne really starting to, you know, to be some 1-2s and various things, not just coming across. So I think the impressive thing with Haaland today was the 2 assists to Phil. And then, you know, and then he said, well, he really wanted to help Phil to know what it was like to get a hat-trick. But 3 hat-tricks on the trot. You know, I saw the stat afterwards that the fastest player to 3 hat-tricks was 48 games, was Michael Owen when he started his career, and he's done it in 8 games.
He's the first player to score 3 consecutive hat-tricks in 3 home games. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's actually rewriting, you know, he's rewriting the record book already. And
Mohamed Salah's crying.
If he scores against Southampton, he'll equal our top scorer from last season. And we'll be 9 games into the season, of which he's probably been off the pitch for, you know, combined about 2 games when he's been subbed. So yeah, I mean, it is ridiculous what he's achieving. And you could see today, each game, he gets a little bit more involved in the play. And I thought today was the first game you really see him giving chances to other players and getting more and more involved. So you can see how he's going to get better and better and better. And
that ball, I mean, Aussie's under. If KDB had David Silva or Pele or Maradona had have put that ball in that Haaland did for Foden, we'd be saying it was the best assist ever in world football.
Yeah.
This is your 6'3", 6'4" striker on the left-hand side who puts a split defense opening ball for Phil Foden to go, thanks very much. Is there anything this guy can't do? By the way, another headed goal off a corner. Oh, just before you head on, can I just give the United fans a little rule? If any are lurking, a referee will only stop play on a head injury. He has no right, or there is no rule to stop play for any other injury other than a head one.
Especially a ball hit you on the foot injury.
Yes.
That's
when you've been assaulted by the football, you can't stop playing. Stop bitching and moaning about it, please, and learn the rules.
He's got
that's all I've heard for 20. That's all I've heard for 5 hours. That goal wouldn't have allowed. Varane was offside. Varane was down injured. What are you doing? Walker was injured for one of our goals. Give over.
He's averaging a goal every 48 minutes.
Scary.
It's just mental.
And I said at the beginning of the season, like he was scoring goals at the beginning of the season, but I mean, I said, give him time because the rest of the team needs to get to learn how to play with him because we haven't had a striker for 2 seasons properly. We've been playing at a false 9, and he's something different, something we've never had before, or for a long time at least. And look, I think today is the game where we saw the team actually starting to learn how to play with him properly. And as Rich saying, he was able to kind of bring in and even having 2 assists. I mean, it's scary for the rest of the league, really, because this is just the beginning.
Question for you guys: how many goals do you think he ends up on in the Premier League this season? And do you think he?
I said 40.
That's far and away. So Salah's obviously got the record at 32. So obviously, I know we're all sitting here going, he's just scored hat-trick, 3 back-to-backs, but
no, he'll smash the record.
But realistically, we have to sit here and go, he can't score every game, can he? Can he? There comes to a point where we have
Bournemouth, he didn't.
Yeah, but then we have to put our hats on and go, on it, take all emotion and all club bias out of it. When you look at a footballer in the Premier League, can he score a goal every single game? Because it's getting to the point where it's quite difficult to say, no, he can't. Do you know what I mean? I mean, because even in that...
No, I don't think it is, because I look behind him and I go, there's Kevin, there's Bernardo, there's Grealish, there's Foden, there's Mahrez off the bench, there's Alvarez off... And I'm like... and the problem is everyone's got is... I keep saying this. You man Mark Haaland, you've left Kevin. You man Mark Kevin, you've left Haaland. You man Mark Kevin and Haaland, you've left Bernardo. Where do opposition go?
And you know what the biggest mistake United made for that first goal? For Haaland's goal, for when he headed the goal in, is they put Eriksen on him. What are you doing?
No, they had to because Varane was going to go on him.
No, I know, but still,
put McTominay on him,
or put McTominay. Yeah, exactly. I mean, be sensible about it. I mean,
hey, I'm not Eric Ten Hag. Don't have a go at me. Bloody hell, Ozzy. What have I done wrong here?
I'm telling Ten Hag. What are
Rich,
you thinking?
have a word here. Ozzy's getting upset over the goal not being man-marked here. What's happening?
Well, I think it serves him right. I mean, it says something about Varane that the first time he gets hit on the foot by the ball, he doesn't.
He goes off.
Yeah, he goes off. He went
off as well, didn't he?
The stretcher was coming out. It did look like he'd done something.
He's been skinning it fair, Wayne Rooney for all this time.
He did look like he rolled his ankle a bit. I reckon he'll be out for a few weeks. He picks up injuries, Varane. So I reckon he'll be out now for a few weeks, which, I mean, you look at Lindelof when he came on. It's like, and you got Harry. I shouldn't laugh, but I kind of should. It's just, it's a bit mad.
It's a
Can I ask a question to you all?
Go on.
Is Phil Jones still there?
Yeah. No, he is, Rich. Yeah.
That's scary.
That's fine.
He might as well be on furlough, that bloke. I mean, does he even turn up for work? I mean, it's.
Hey, listen, if you're getting paid your wage for that, look at Maguire. He gets paid, and he just.
Yeah.
Listen, has anyone ever felt more relaxed in a derby at half time than that today? The reason I'm asking is, normally in a derby at half time, I sit there and I go, right, we're 1-0 up, 2-0 up, and I sit there and I go. And I get a bit edgy and I'm like, oh, the next goal's important. I've never been so more relaxed at half time than what I was.
I reckon 17-18.
No, Rich, I wasn't then because we were 2-0 up.
Yeah, that was.
No, because I remember
we should have been
Sterling misses.
We should have been 10 up.
I know, but we weren't.
And that's what I said to you, Martin, on the space today. When I said, I made the joke of we've sold Jesus and signed God because we've, got Haaland in, and it screamed of it yesterday when I said we were comparing the United game against Arsenal where they won 3-1 and obviously the game today, and I said how Arsenal just dominated United for the first 30 minutes and they didn't have anything to show for it, and I said that was us last year. What they were doing in that game, and it reeked of it today. That if we didn't have Haaland on that pitch, we might not have got that goal. And then, or maybe we go in and it's 1-0, And then they come out and they're like, right, lads, let's have them. Because, and that's been the story of us for the last 2.5 years. And
I'm not
it
sure.
felt...
I remember you saying that, but I'm not sure I agree, because I honestly think, I don't think United, we're going to come on to this, I don't think United get them 3 goals, because I don't think we switch off like we did. Them 3 goals from United was us switching. Yeah. If you look at what we did, once we got to, because you could see it, when we were at 4-1, 4-0, and Anthony, I'll hold my hands up here, scored a pearler of a goal. That should win goal of the month. It was a delightful. He used the man's body. He put it round Edison. Yeah. Anyone wants to dare say that was Edison's fault, go and stick your head in a toilet. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Edison could do jack about that. That was just quality from Anthony. But then we went and scored 5th, 6th. So anytime United got danger, we upped it. When we got to 6-1, Pep goes, right, tell you what, I've got a game in 3 days. This game's won. I'm switching it all over. KDB goes off. Gundogan goes off. Foden goes off. And he starts bringing on Palmer, brings on Alvarez. He made 4 subs straight away.
Yeah.
Brings on, I know Gomez had already come on for the injured Walker.
Mm.
It had all changed. And the intensity had gone. The intensity had left everything. After United lot had gone home, they weren't interested anymore. There was a fire evacuation over in the away end. 500 of them pissed off.
39 minutes that happened.
Yeah, 39 minutes, and the M25 was having a roadblock because of all the United fans going back home. Jesus, I've never seen it.
My brother sits just behind the commentary boxes in the Colin Bell stand, and at halftime, Guy Mowbray stood up and turned to the City fans behind him and said, "That is the best half of football I've ever seen in my life." And that's kind of like what it was like. And then the second half, we tried for a little bit, got to 6, and all the fans are thinking, just keep it going, because it could have been Huddersfield Town. It really could. But Pep's thinking of the next 2 months, and he basically said, right, that's it, game over, subs on, we'll change how we're playing. So we had 4 subs at once, so that was 5 subs on. Most of the players who'd been, with the exception of Haaland, most of the players who'd been really running the show, given a chance for a rest. And it was just, it was a real, I thought at first Pep would be, and he did look a little bit grumpy after the game, but I thought he'd be a bit annoyed by us really switching off like that. But when you look back and think, he was annoyed, but it was him.
It was the perfect game, Rich, every time.
Yeah,
I think Haaland staying
made that
on
happen by the subs. So.
I think Haaland just changed on Wednesday now.
I mean, Ozzy made a point earlier about Gomez looking really good going forward, and I agree. But and with Ozzy as well, defensively, he was all over the shop.
He was, yeah.
Defensively, all over.
I mean, he's passing is poor as well.
He's a young lad.
After the Sevilla game, I mean, there was spaces on Twitter, people going, he's got to play left back. He's got to play. And I remember sitting on that going, guys, he had to do nothing going that way tonight. Let's wait and let's see a game where he's actually got to run back towards his own goal.
But the thing is, he's a young lad.
He's 21. He's younger than I am.
And I think it's not. You've got to remember, he's not a left back. He was a midfielder.
Yeah, what is he? Because
he's a attacking midfielder.
He was basically Zinchenko.
He's basically Zinchenko. Yeah.
But he was basically Zinchenko Mark II, as I called him when he came in. But he's a young lad.
You wait. We'll probably start playing. We will probably start playing some games with 3.
I think we'll do that on Wednesday night, which I'm not going to talk about.
I think we'll see. That's why we've got 5. I think we'll see, a Kanji, Laporte and Diaz maybe. I've got a rant. I'm feeling a bit too crook.
You know what it is? He's got up, watched the game. Got back up again, and he's going back to bed again. But this is why give a like just for Rich getting up for 2 hours sleep And by the way, we're nearly 800. Please hit that subscribers button if you're not. We're nearly 800. It'd be amazing just for these three to get on and get 800 subs while we're live. That'd be amazing. And please give it a like. Let's try and get to 50 likes while we are live. That'd be amazing to you all. Thank you. And keep the comments going. The more you comment, the better the channel does, the more interaction. Listen, Alvarez, thought he did a lot of running around. Don't think he did much else, if I'm honest with you. I said this earlier. As much as I love Alvarez, I just thought he looked like a bit of an headless chicken when he got on the pitch and was like, I'll run anywhere. I don't care where I run. I'll just run. And
he was trying, though, you know.
Yeah, no, I know, mate. But
he wanted to be on the show. He wanted to be on get that goal.
I think with Alvarez I think we're just going to relax with him. The same as Gomez, the same with Palmer, and just relax. Laporte, he was at fault for the Martial goal, but he's not played a minute of football. He's going to be tight. He's going to be not loose. I just think those 3 goals, some City fans have looked into it far too deep. Because I'm telling you now, if that game was at 3-0, we wouldn't have made all them subs and United wouldn't have been given those chances. I'm telling you now, they wouldn't have done. Those chances were not classed by United other than Anthony's goal. The other 2 goals.
I saw a comment, and I don't want to start an argument with anyone in the comments, but someone saying that Anthony's goal was Grealish's fault for misjudging the header. I mean, there's a lot of movement between A and B to that point, mate. I think you're reaching there if you want to. I mean,
but this is what I mean. This is what I mean with Grealish. There is an agenda out for Jack at the moment, sadly, and it, you know, I'm surprised. You know, Jack hasn't been blamed for what's going on in America, the sad events in America at the minute. Surprised Jack's not being blamed for that. You know, Jack's just at the moment going to get the blame for everything that goes on in the world. Yeah. It's just one of them plays at the minute. And what it is people are expecting Jack Grealish to do. Now, listen, I know it. This is where the difficulty comes in with Jack. When you see Anthony doing that for 100 million, then the exact thing will be, well, what's he? Grealish doing that for 100 million. The difference is Grealish is under instruction from Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola does not like his players running and shooting from 30 yards. Have you ever watched? We don't have players who shoot like Anthony does. It's not the way we play football. Never have done. We are the old Arsene Wenger, 50 passes at the edge of the box.
Not true, Martin.
Oh, apart from a Rodri Rocket.
No. I can. There's Cancelo for starters.
Very rare. Very, very rare.
Very rare, but there is one other player. Currently, he's not with us anymore. And he's getting the same hate that Grealish is getting right now. And didn't particularly have the best start when he first started for City.
Sterling?
Yeah.
I think Grealish is getting far more hate than Sterling is.
No, but I don't know. I don't know about that.
No, the difference is, Martin, that Sterling's came from the whole country, the media, everything.
Yeah.
Grealish is only having to put up with a section of City fans complaining. He isn't getting 20% of what Sterling got.
No, you have to think about the racial abuse that Sterling was getting as well.
I agree with that, but trust me now, away games I've been to this year, Grealish gets booed everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah.
And gets abused.
I think there's 2 different levels to it. I think there's the City abuse and then there's the football fan abuse. You know, you look at Grealish.
I think Grealish gets both.
But before, yeah, I think he gets both. But I think when we signed him, there wasn't a club in the country that wouldn't wanted Jack Grealish. Think about that Euros run that we had just before we signed him. People on their knees for them to sign it, and I think
United wanted him.
Yeah, and I think the thing with Grealish is when we signed Sterling, obviously we paid 50 billion quid for him, which was more than it is deemed. It was deemed more than it is now. Whereas we paid 100 million quid for Grealish. No matter how you cut it, you know, no player is worth 100 million pounds. They're just not, you know. So I think even if he was scoring 25 goals and getting 10 assists, right, in a season, you're looking thinking 100 million quid, you know, what then you're getting into not just what's his numbers. Okay, well, was he stat padding? Was he scoring in goals that were already won? It never ends. And which is why I always say to you, Martin, I'm much more interested in how's he just playing? Like today, how did he dictate the tempo of the game? How did he draw people in? How did he commit players? How did he make space for other people? For me, that's far more important than just, he scored a great goal from the edge of the box. It's interesting to say the players that took those shots, Ozzy, when you actually look at them, they are more defensive-minded players. Cancelo obviously left centre, Rodri holding midfield. It's very rare that you see Mahrez take a shot from 30 yards, trying to whip it into the top corner. They're normally more in and around the box. So it's funny, like what he asks different areas of the pitch and where he gives them different liberties to do it. Almost like if you're back here and you see an opening, have a go. But if you're further up and you're a winger, get in the box, get to the byline. Almost like different priorities depending on where you are and what your skill set is. But yeah.
Well, I think he's got the quality. I really do. I think he's got that quality to duplicate what Sterling did. I think give him another couple of seasons, and I think we will be seeing him doing that, hitting a worldie. Do you know what I mean? I just think it's going to take a little bit more time, like it took Sterling.
The problem with Sterling as well was Sterling was 21 when we signed him. Grealish is 27 now, so Sterling had a little look. We've sold Sterling at the same age that Grealish is now. So
no, I thought he's 26. Just turned 26, isn't he?
Grealish is 27.
Is he?
And Sterling I think is 27 as well. So very different stages in their career. So there's that aspect to it as well. Sterling had 5 years to grow into it. In 5 years, I think it was Sterling's his third season. By the time it's Grealish's third season, he's almost. Can I just say, 30, so it's different stages of career.
Not having to go at anyone in the chat. Super City, I understand. I get that. I'm not getting at you. There is a section of City fans. I'm not saying anyone here who are Grealish haters, whether we like it or not. They just are. And I just think we just got to give it a bit of a rest. Today, KDB. The scary thing is you've got Haaland who's at 14 league goals.
Correct. In 8 games.
In Champions League.
Yeah.
KDB's, I think, on 10 assists.
8.
Is it on
8?
Is it 8? I thought it was 10.
8.
I was at 8.
8 Premier League. 8 Premier League assists and 14.
Is it 10 in total? Might be 10 in total.
Yes. Yeah.
It's quite scary. Those two have got this little fluent connection at the moment, haven't they? Where they just thrive.
Mate, that third goal, that ball from De Bruyne, I'm looking thinking, only you, it was so narrow. I'm thinking, for you to get this in that area, that is going to be, I think he had Foden on the overlap. I'm thinking, just play it wide, get to the byline and cut it back. For me, selfishly, I've got De Bruyne in my fantasy team, so I'm like, put it in the box, lad. But, he was, the way he put that ball in, it was, them two are just like, it was, I was slightly worried when we signed because it was all the chat went on social media. You've got the best passer of the ball, the best striker of the ball. It's going to be a match made in heaven. There's always that cynical part of you going, it's not going to click, is it? It's not going to work. That was
Liverpool fans about all them. Best passer, best corner.
Don't get started on them. We're not talking about them tonight. We'll save that for another night. But it was just phenomenal. Even just things like putting a ball in from a corner. Like those kind of assists, those numbers, they don't have to be. Think about some of them balls he used to put in for Sterling and Sané at the back stick that were just ridiculous. It's almost like it's easy for him now. He doesn't have to make 15 big chances a game to get 2 assists. You think about what else did De Bruyne really do today outside of those moments. He had a relatively quiet game for how he plays. He wasn't dictating it by any means, but he just had moments.
I've got a bit of a stat for everyone. I know it's one of them, but like I said, Manchester City now, in their last, because Manchester City have normally been the away team. We haven't been beaten away for well over a year now, getting on to nearly 18 months. I'm totally honest. Well, no, it's about 14 months. Could be 18 months. About 14.
14 because of Tottenham, we lost.
Yeah, we got beat by Tottenham. Manchester City now, they were always a bit shit. If you were going to beat City, it would be at home. That was what we've kind of come to in the last 12 months. City have just won at 8 on the bounce at home. They've broken another record today. They're the first team to win 8 on the bounce at home and score more than 3 in all of them. This is how it goes. They beat Brighton 3-0. They beat Watford 5-1. Newcastle 5-0. Villa 3-2. That's obviously last season. Bournemouth 4-0. Crystal Palace 4-2. Forest 6-0. United 6-3. In all our home games this year, we've scored more than we've not scored less than 4 goals in all our home games.
Don't say it. We've got the mighty Saints next week, and Salasu's
Yeah, but
screaming out
that's
for a
what I'm
worldie.
saying. That is shit scary when you look at it.
It is.
We are scoring a minimum of 4 goals a game every home game at the moment.
We're also the only team left unbeaten as well.
I mean, Rich.
We're coming for their little gold trophy that they've got down in fucking.
People tell me our defense is not great, and we're not. Minimum 4 goals at home, Rich. Tell me about it. Is it just the fantastic support that I'm giving them? Is it me sat behind that goal, singing them on, getting them in the mood
with his top off, flowing it around like this in the fucking south stand?
No, I think we'd be scoring nil if that was the case.
Whoa, hang on a minute.
I think it's obviously that our big Nordic god is a large part of it this season, but I think also we've not been as good in defence, and I think we haven't been as tight as a team, and some of it's a bit of that, like the Real Madrid game where at the end of last season we started to get, probably after that Madrid game, a bit more open at the back, hence conceding like we did against West Ham and Villa. And I don't think we've quite got that solidity as a team back since then. So we're scoring more goals, but we've also conceded a few more. That's encouraged other teams forward a bit, which is we've had more space in a lot of games than we've seen for a long time. So I think there's a lot of factors. I mean, obviously, there's also the fact that we're creating a similar number of chances, but scoring. I think someone said our rate of scoring when something's on target is about double what it was this time last year. Yeah, but I think that we're scoring about double the amount of the shots on target we have. We're scoring now compared to a year ago. So I think it's there's a whole lot of factors.
Aussie's out on the piss here, Rich. According to Blue Out, Aussie's in the beer cellar.
I'm gonna make a move in a moment, guys, but I just want to say one thing before I go without being too negative. Now, obviously, United came into this game in some good form, but I am interested to see how we play when we come against a team that are a good team. I mean, no disrespect. I mean, look, we played Newcastle at St James's Park. There were periods of that game we were played off the pitch. For there was that 30 minutes in the first half where I was watching it thinking, fucking hell, lads, what's going on here? Obviously we've played a lot, 2 newly promoted teams. Obviously the Arsenal game's been postponed because that had been a really good litmus test, I think, for both sides. But I am interested to see, obviously 1-1 at Villa, disappointing result. 3-3 at Newcastle, where we really weren't the best team for large periods of it. So it would be interesting to see how we go when we come up against a really good side. But what I do love is that we've got that fight in us. We look at the Dortmund game, 1-0 down, win it 2-1. Like I said, St James's Park, 3-1 down, draw 3-3. We have got that bit of bite, which I think we did lack 2 or 3 years ago. We almost looked at a team where to go a couple of goals were a bit like, but no, it's exciting times. But yeah, I'm going to leave you with that, fellas. Lovely to chat to you as always. And,
cheers, Ender. Thanks for being on, mate. Superb work,
later, guys.
Mate. I mean, we are going to wrap up in the next sort of 5 minutes or so. But I mean, can I just say, by the way, Lucky Singh, welcome. Bravo for braving it, mate. Do appreciate that. You braved it. You're coming at a go. So welcome. I think the big thing here at the moment is, hang on, UC spoke up. We'll end that unbeaten run. You heard it here first. Rich, Ozzy, any of you want to respond to Yusuf, our resident Liverpool fan?
I'm more worried about Southampton than I am about Liverpool right now. So keep quiet, Yusuf.
Yeah, honestly, having watched the way Brighton went through them, I was going to say like a knife through butter, but it was like a knife through margarine. I mean, they just, and what makes me laugh is that we've had this all week from United fans, how, they've now got the best centre-backs in the world. United fans have gone full scouse. So what happens now? Liverpool have to lift their game again. I mean, honestly, I mean, Grealish at the moment, if ever you wanted to, if ever you wanted to give a left winger confidence, you'd put them up against Liverpool. Because honestly, the three of us could defend better than Trent. And so if they want to put Trent the way he's playing up against Foden or Grealish or whoever it may be, then good luck to him. I mean, honestly, having watched the Brighton game, Liverpool have got a lot more to worry about than City at the moment. I mean, they don't need to be thinking about the title. They need to be thinking about, can they keep themselves in the top four? Because their defense, it's like the parting of the Red Sea. It's like, we'll have Moses in midfield and we'll just walk through the middle. I mean, they need to actually realise what's happening there and not get giddy, because if they do beat us, it's going to be like when we beat United in 2002.
Smile for Blue Art, Rich. There you go. Someone just clicked that. Alex Starboy, thank you. Grealish incredible today. Can I just say, if you are new to the channel, if you could be so considerate, please give it a subscribe and a like. That'd be amazing. We are trying to get to 800. Everyone who has subscribed over the last week, thank you. Our subscribers have gone over 100. We've gained over 100 subscribers in a week, which is immense. Big thank you to you all. Really do appreciate that. Right. 6-3. Get the scoreline flatters a little bit. My man of the match is one person. I know everyone's giving it to Haaland, but for me, it goes to Stockport Iniesta. I think the guy was immense. And there was a stat earlier, someone put the hat-trick, was it the youngest hat-trick or something, was scored in, and then 9 minutes later got broke again by Phil Foden. I just thought that's the best I've seen Foden in a long time. And as much as maybe I'm being a little bit, maybe I'm trying to share around with man of the matches this year, but Haaland was immense. But for me, I thought Foden. I'm going to give it to Foden.
And I think there are other shots. I thought, although not obviously, I thought the way we played was allowed to be because of Bernardo. I thought Bernardo doing the stuff. He was the one who, he was getting back and helping Gundogan.
Olympics fanatic agrees with you.
He was going all around. I think he's what allowed us to play. I mean, Foden or Haaland, it's hard. I mean, Haaland got 2 assists as well. That's the thing. I mean, a hat-trick and 2 assists is ridiculous. Foden looked incredible, but I think I'd go for Bernardo just because I couldn't separate Haaland and Foden.
Was there anyone different for you? Colonel Ward's giving it the large beans at the minute. I love Colonel Ward, but he's this Arsenal thing's getting a bit spreading, isn't it, here at the minute? Top of the league. Got a nosebleed, the lad.
What did I say at the beginning of the season? I said Arsenal were the dark horses, and so far they certainly are. So,
yeah.
Hang on.
United are back on track for relegation as well. Yeah, they are. I mean, look at them today. Did they look like a relegation team, or did they look like a top team?
By the way, we're not talking of Veta. Veta's let us all down today. Naughty boy, naughty Veta. No, Veta was very busy. I did have a private message, but he couldn't get on. So Veta will be with us again soon. No worries, mate. You enjoy your drink. It's one drink. Yeah, 6 p.m. over there. You enjoy your evening. Red wine, white wine, whatever it is you're enjoying, mate. Liverpool have been crap since Mane left. Yeah, we're not. We've got a whole thing planned for Liverpool in the next couple of weeks. We've got a couple of games before that. Me and Alec Johnson said, spoilt for choice. That's the thing. You could have given man of the match to so many today.
Yeah, you could have given it to pretty much most of the team.
Michael Oliver? Sorry, I'm just winding United fans up with that one. Sorry.
Yeah, it is difficult though, isn't it, to pick a man of the match? I mean, it was shared between 2 players today. I mean, that's just how incredible it was between Foden and Haaland. And as Rich said, he got 2 assists as well as a hat trick. I mean, what more could you want, really? absolutely amazing, and just I can't wait to see this team progress. I really can't.
It became that golden child scratch. Second time the team with our rejects the call is that what we've done? The competition's that lame at the moment. We decided, tell you what, we'll send some of our cast-offs over to another team. It's one of them. We'll create inner competition. We'll sort of give half our team to somebody else.
Well, look at Chelsea. We've had to give them Sterling, and they're nowhere near us.
Yeah, it's not worked for Sterling. Sorry, Raz. No. But don't forget, you weren't playing Sunshine. Anyway, no, I'm not doing that. We're not going into that road. I mean, it's Stephen Dempsey, but I cannot separate Akanji and Ake. Akanji could be up there as well. Yeah, that's what I mean. There's loads. Ali's put man of the match for him. It is, Haaland, got Bernardo with you. Yeah, it is what it is. But Manchester is blue. Manchester is always blue. We've had 2 hat-tricks from 2 boyhood Manchester City fans today in a Manchester derby, which managed to get another boyhood Manchester City fan on in Cole Palmer as well at the end. So it was great. It's great to see. It's what you want to see. The only sad thing about today is there was a lot of half and half scarves out. And I don't like to see City fans wearing half and half scarves on derby.
No,
there was loads of City fans wearing half and half scarves today, Richard.
Why? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know what. Oh, no, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you something.
That's really worse than my hangover.
Little story before we go. This is why he's hungover. This is what he got pissed last night. Ignore it. Right, this is Richie's telling you the truth now, Blue Heart. He's pissed as a fart. He's coming down off an hangover. This is why he's got to go back to bed. Do you know what we saw today? This is no joke. There was it must have been about 1920. He had City jogging pants on, a United shirt with a City tracksuit top over the top.
Oh, I've seen that he's the guy who had the United shirt on in the first half, and then he put the jacket on in the second half.
It was like, I don't know, I've not seen that one, but honestly, there was a guy walking outside, and my lad went,
I thought it was a piss take.
Dad, I've just seen that. I went, no, you haven't. He went, he's either the United fan who's sneaking in and doesn't want to be he's still trying to have his colours on, and I'm like, I couldn't even do that. I mean, I've been to the swamp.
Was he really old? Could he have thought it was 1932 or something?
No, he was like 1920. He was only a young lad. And
1920
in his head.
1920. I think
he's struggling with his identity. Let's be honest.
The funny thing is, I've sat in the home end at the swamp. I got some guy had some nice tickets, and he gave me the tickets for the derby. Now, I did get chucked out because it was. Does anyone remember the one where Joey Barton scored in the last minute and we drew one each? You remember that one?
Yeah.
I was there, and this idiot kept nice and quiet. And then Joey Barton bagged in like the 83rd, he bagged near the end anyway, and I jumped up and got chucked out. So, yeah. We didn't wear a City shirt though, but I did jump up and I got chucked out. But it was with a lot of people who were a bit posh. So they weren't going to like hammer me or anything. They were just like, get him out of here. Like, bye. Anyway, for everyone who enjoyed today, enjoy it. We move on now to Wednesday night. Back to Champions League action, Aussie's favourite trophy. We are back to chasing the UCL dream. I got told today it was a priority. It's a priority to win the UCL. My ass. Anyway, sorry, Aussie. But it wasn't Aussie, by the way. He told me that was somebody else.
But you're a dinosaur, so, you know.
I'll happily be a dinosaur. I'd cut that scarf in half. Exactly. I'd cut half and half scarves in half. Anyone, if you've been at the game today, I'm worn in half and half skirt. Half and half skirt. Half and half. It's getting late.
Put your teeth back in, Martin.
If you have worn a half and half scarf today, put yourself in the bin.
Yeah,
Very loud one and close the lid.
I'll be chopping the person in half.
Because that's just, it's a derby. I mean, half and half shouldn't be one full stop. You don't wear one in a derby.
No, that's
Sorry, disgraceful.
City need to take some action on that.
The City fans outside nearly took it.
Yeah, I mean, like I just cannot possibly understand who's going to a game like that. You could possibly want one. You can just about understand. You can just about understand in a Champions League game that some tourists are coming in, going to a game, and they think, "Oh, it'd be nice to have a scarf of, Real Madrid and Inter Milan or something." I mean, I don't even like that, to be honest. But
a Champions League final, Rich, because it's.
I mean, Derby's just bloody criminal. But I mean, it would be criminal, honestly, if it was City and Brentford. That would be wrong.
I hate them.
But
I don't
City
agree
United.
with them. I think it's just another money-making scheme. I'm sorry, I wouldn't.
Who sells them? They must just be sold by dodgy,
Well, yeah, they're sold outside with men with dodgy bags. And when the police turn up, they fill the bag and run off and go somewhere else. Rags wear Norwich scarves, exactly. The green and gold parade brigade.
Well, they'll be back wearing them again now. They'll be protesting. Zebra pants will be back.
I'm always at the stadium, mate. I'm a season ticket holder. I've been for a long time and always will be. Over 30 odd years, me, mate. So yes, I was at the game. On Cheeseman Podcast, kids wearing them with Barca fans. Yeah, I get it, but why are Barca fans there to watch it? I suppose. Yeah, I get it. I don't know. I'm not very good on them. Anyway, we are back. There will be a preview for the Copenhagen game. Copenhagen game. Either Monday or Tuesday. There will be a post-match on Wednesday. I did put it in. I did have. Anyway, we'll talk about that privately. I get told off when I talk. Ozzy shouts at me.
After
there will be a preview at some part in the Copenhagen game. Post-match on Wednesday night. And then, and there's also going to be the Southampton one we'll probably do Thursday night. It's easier. And then we're Southampton post-match. Literally, we got a game every 3 days. So we're going to be mega, mega busy.
So please subscribe and hit that like.
There you go. And I am back at 7 a.m. in the morning with the Daily News in 10. So enjoy. Thank you all for joining us, loving us, joining us. Hit that subscribe. Hit that like button. I want to make sure we're over 50 likes. I want to leave on 50 likes. Come on. We got 50 likes. You'll make Ozzy and Rich cry.
I'll just log on.
No, we're at 52 likes. That'll do me.
That'll do.
We haven't gone up any subscribers though. No one likes us. We're still stuck on 793. No one likes us.
Don't make us to come around your houses and make you subscribe. Right. I'll do it.
Anyway, have a lovely evening. Thank you to Rich and Ozzy. Thank you, lads.
Good night.
Rich is off to get some sleep and get more sobered up.
Yeah.
Is it me? Because before we go, is Rich really low down? He looks like Martinez. It looks like I've got Martinez on the channel here.
Yeah.
Blue Art Martinez is with us. He's playing. Look. Right,
Haaland's let him out of his back pocket.
He's gone to Richie's house in Australia. Anyway, have a lovely evening. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Manchester is blue. It always was blue, wasn't it? But yeah, enjoy. Demolition Derby. The Rags. Hit for 6. Take care. We'll see you on the next one. Everyone in the chat, big thank you from all of us. Take care.